Welcome back to the next part of the 74 Delph Blue Tr6. So, it's been a while. It's been a while since I put a video up, and I've made a few more changes. Just been busy, so I hadn't had a chance to actually go put the video down and actually make a recording. But let's see where we've made it. The dashboard, we've put some gauges in. They're just sitting here, but these are connected in, so I'm ready to actually put that in. And I'm going to do another little video on wiring because I'm going to bypass. I'm going to add some stuff on. And I'm going to do a video and show you how to do the wiring for the LED signal light. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, how I'm going to build it, and how I'm going to install it. That'll be separate to this. It's done afterwards. I'll get the dashboard on because I want to be able to connect the gauges up and everything, so when I do go to run it, I can see what's going on with the car. Other than that, the window reg, I had an issue with. I have a new window reg to go in. The one over there is in, but I need to adjust this some more. Again, just fitting stuff for now, just to get it off the floor and get it on, then come back to it. What else have we done? Oh, look. We've put a nice set of shiny carbs on the car. So, here's the carbs that are going on it. Set of 45 DCOEs. There's going to be a lot of power on these. They're used, so I got them for a good price. I ended up taking them out of the car and swapping them for 22 36s. So, these are going to be nice when they run. What else have I done? We've put front bumper on. Can't beat a nice shiny front bumper. This is the stainless steel one, not the chrome, so it's lightweight. I will take it back out because I didn't put a gasket in here yet because we just fitted it. It's a two-person job, to be honest, because again, this is only done as fresh paint and I don't want to scratch it. I want to move on to the rear bumper as well and put that one on, to put the brackets on, but again, I'm going to need a hand to put it on. What else did I put anything else in the engine bay? No. Been playing around with the gearbox cover. Because it's an A-type overdrive, this cover hasn't been fitting right, so I'm playing around with that. And I'm playing around with adjusting the seat tracks to put it on. I have my idea of what I'm going to do and how I'm going to adjust it back. Again, that'd be another video. I need to get all in here cleaned up first before I move on to that. The only thing I've done was the exhaust system. So... it looks terrible the way it is now. So we got the new exhaust system for it. It's just barely connected. It's not even so I'm actually, before I fit that, because I had to take it back off, I'm going to do the rear bumper because it gets in the way. But I just fit it. That one is more likely where it's going to sit, almost level here. And this one, I just need to go, it's almost straight down the middle. I need to start twisting all the pipes and jazz and I'll end up back here. Hey, look. There's me in the video. So yeah, that was just put on. I just wanted to get it off the floor and see how it fitted and what it actually looked like with the two little pieces sticking out the back. So it's pretty much like original, except instead of the two together, it's going to be one either side. I think that's all I have so far. I've done the steering. I've done the steering column the last time. I said this slow pace because I've had a few other little projects that came in that I needed to address first. So this did get a little pushed aside, but. The owner Doug has been out here working on it. He's been doing a great job. I mean, getting his hands on, putting the stuff on there. So that's all good. And the exhaust system I got starts from a stainless steel and starts from the manifold going down. So that's all connected. So now I can start to put the stuff back here. That's it. So I'm going to start doing the extensions to get the rear bumper on. Be able to put that on. So again, it gets that off the ground because they're just sitting there beside the MGA. Well, I'm waiting for that because the headset's in my shop. So I want to be able to put this on again to get it off the ground. So I'm going to put the brackets on and move on to that. So, that's it. Time for some high speed. And next one, we'll move on to the dash. All right. Let's roll on with some high speed. Okay, so going to be a little change here. These are the brackets we normally put into them. So they would obviously go in here and go across. And you can see they come with an extra support. So there's an extra brace in this. And if you're wondering, this is not a different part. It's actually the same as this. It's actually your exact same one as the front. It just has an extra brace in it, so it makes it look like a different shape. So this is extra support. However, because I'm not putting the big heavy chrome bumpers on. I'm putting lightweight stainless steel, plus the overriders are not going on. I don't see the need to have this extra big weight at the back, so it's just an extra clunk. You may say, oh, it's there in case you get an impact. Like I said, if this car is going to get hit, it's going to get hit. So I'm going to revert it to make a nice cleaner one and much easier to get to. So, I don't know if you can see in there. I'm going to make it much easier to get to the hole for the bumper, and I'm going to put the front ones on instead. So it's the exact same, just with an extra piece in it. You think it's two different pieces. I'm going to put these on instead. It's nicer, it's cleaner, it's easier to get to, and it'll do the job. So let's keep going. Alright, welcome back. So doing the bumpers, I got frustrated because a few things have come to mind. The person who done the valence, I don't think put it squared, because I have a gap here, but not on that side. And then when I pushed it across to get it to line up with the holes, to have it where the plate sits, like where the flat plate is, when I do that, the whole bumper now is crooked. So something was misaligned. So what I'm going to end up doing is, if I look at it compared to the line in here, just in the line there, but when I go this side, it's in. So it's about a quarter of an inch, if that, or a little bit more. I have to go back that direction. So I'm probably going to end up unbolting it and actually putting the rear piece on first and centering that, and then putting the next two on, because it's not going to line up with the valence, but you're not really going to see it. But yeah. Anyway, other than that, I started in the exhaust system, and again I got a little frustrated with that because this system never fits right. No matter what you do, it never goes in the way it should do, especially when you do two separate pipes. So drove me nuts. I spent about 6 hours trying to get this thing in, but I got it in. Obviously the issue was going through the t-shirt as usual, because the exhaust is meant to go through it, but it never lines up to it correctly. One side I have clearance on, so I don't know if you can see this. Oh. But you see it this side. You may not be able to see it. No, I don't think, I think it's a shadow. I can see it with my eyes. I can see right through. Yeah, let me zoom in a bit more. As you can see at the back here, I don't know if you can make it out, but I got my finger in the way now. This, if I take this side off, you can see a bit of clearance with the exhaust pipe there. This one here seems to be pretty much touching on the t-shirt. So it's just the way it's meant to sit up higher, but the problem I find is the next pipe up. When I put it in the way it's meant to go, it's hitting off the bracket for the differential, the gearbox, and the overdrive. So I actually reversed it around and actually put it up the other way, and it fits so much better. And the problem is, I managed to turn the light on somehow. The problem I found is that, and I'll show you, I wish they made exhaust systems that actually fit. I can see why people go get custom ones done. This section here, where it joins in, comes in, that's way up. Like, it actually ends all the way back here. Like, it's gone all the way up. Because again, this section here, it kept knocking. So I actually reversed these and swapped them around. Now, yes, it sits right underneath the overdrive, but it was a way better fit. So next time what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the brackets that hold it on, that you use to mount it up. I'm going to cut them off completely. I'm going to just make up my own, and then it will save me so much trouble, because you spend more time trying to line them up than getting the damn thing on. So yeah, it is that though. It looks nice. It is actually a nice clean finish to it. I haven't done anything in the engine bay yet. I'm going to go back to that. I'm actually going to move on to now probably, excuse me, I connected the fuel line and everything while I was down there. So now I might put onto the dash, so I can put that in, so I can put the gauges on. So then I can actually put the linkage, throttle linkage together. The exhaust is on it. I can then actually put power to it and go start it. So I know I said I'd hope to do live videos. I'm still hoping that maybe when it comes around that I can actually still do a live video of the starting it for the first time. Well, attempting to start. We'll see. That's the plan. But I want to do the dashboard. I'm also going to do a video on the wiring, how to do for the LEDs. So I'm going to do that now while it's really exposed, and it makes it so much easier because there's not much room in there. But no, I'm happy with the exhaust, I have to say. They're on sale here at Plan 6 Parts for $700 plus tax. And that's for a limited time only. And as I said, depending on when you're watching this video, it could be over. This is for like the summer 2024. But for the cost of it, it's nice. Like, I like it. It doesn't sit out like a big shotgun like the old one. I mean, there's no double barrel shotgun sticking out the back. So it's nice, it's clean, and then, like I said, on a cold day, you'll get the old frosting on the bumper there. But I like it. Anyway, it's coming together. It's slowly getting there. It's really starting to look like a car now that it has the bits more bumpers and everything on it. So still have to work on the doors and all that jazz. But yeah. All right. I'm out of breath here because I've been crawling another thing for the last like 5 hours between like getting the exhaust on and like the bumper yesterday. So like I've been up and down. I think, yeah. Time to move on to something a little different and get some more achievement in. So I'm going to do all the dash first. I'm not going to do the window because if I need to reach out, I can put that glass in last. Oh, spark plugs. I meant to do that. I have a mixture of spark plugs. Anyway, let's continue on with the build. So I guess more high speed. Alright, welcome back. So, while I'm waiting for some paint to dry, let's talk a little bit about the LEDs. So, putting LEDs on the car is pretty straightforward. In most cases, you're just swapping out the bulbs and putting LED bulbs in. Straightforward. Your problem comes when you decide to do the indicators, signals, flashers, whatever you want to refer to them as. The problem is you have to change your standard flasher unit to an LED one. Again, pretty straightforward. If I get one, I recommend the one that has its own ground, because they're way better than to run it without it. Because the older ones actually grounded when you put them in the metal. The casing grounded, and I don't like that. Just get the one, it's a 3-prong, it has its own ground, the best ones to go with. But that doesn't resolve all your problems. The problem lies the one here in the dash, on how do we make this work? Well, it's actually very easy, believe it or not. It's very easy, but a little annoying to do. So, how it works is, the wire that comes up is a twin wire, right? It's actually this one here. I don't know if you can see it. It's actually this one here. As you see, red, green, red, white. Now you wonder why it's cut. I'm going to explain now. So how it works is, when you go one direction, let's say left, the red, green is, let's say, the positive, the green, white is the negative. And when you turn right, green, white is positive, green, red is negative. So basically you think, hey, if I put a AC-DC bulb in there, that will solve the problem. No. And the reason why it doesn't solve it is because normal halogen bulbs, when you flick left and right, the bulb has to heat up. And it's that fusion where it heats up that gives it starts to glow, and by the time it gets the brightness, the power is already cut off through the relay, and therefore it sticks there. It doesn't travel all the way through. Well, a bit of it might, but it's never going to get to the bulb and never be sufficient to actually illuminate it. When you run with an LED, it's instant. Instant power, it shoots right through. So what happens is the power will come in one wire and it will simply just shoot back down the other one. So you'll find that if you turn your left indicator on, the indicators will work. Let's say this one will work fine, but the right hand side, you'll find, let's say, it's flashing as well, but very dim, maybe like less than a quarter of it, but you can visibly notice it and like something's not right here. You do the same in the right. You turn the right one on, you'll have the same through the left. So the only way to resolve that is this. We're going to put a dial in, right? Yes, it looks like a bullets off a machine gun. This is just a row of dials. Let me show you one. Oh, no. So these actually, some of the wiring, the original wiring harnesses actually do have dials in them, believe it or not. You just may not notice it. They have it in it just to be sure, so you don't get the crossover. And it's a little black Lucas box that you'll find on the wiring harness. So if you ever see that, that's what it is, it's a dial. And on the wiring diagram, it actually even says it. It gives you a symbol to say there's meant to be a dial there. So what it is I'm going to hopefully zoom in and we'll see. Oh my god, the dog's barking. Oh, who? Well, apparently somebody's out there the dog wants to eat. As you can see, I don't know if it will focus in. It says in on this. It looks like a little battery, but it says in. So what happens is power will go in this direction and will not go back the opposite way. So we'll allow it one way, but won't allow it the opposite way. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put one on either side of the wiring. So it will allow the power to come in up to the bulb, but not go through and go on the opposite side. And that's all it really is. You just have to put these in. Now, there's two ways you can do it. One is you can splice the wiring and then fit it in, or you can make your own wiring. In this case, I spliced this one. Let me zoom in and show you. So where am I? I'm down here. So let me take the camera out and I'll show you. It'll be a little easier. So what I've done here is I've cut the wire going up to the bulb, and what I've put in is I've put a little joint in, and then there's the diode that's right in the middle, and there's another one. So I've used these, the little heat shrink connectors, the little small ones. So what you're looking at is you're looking at two of these, one here and one here, and that's the diode right in between. So the diode will sort of half pushed in one side and half pushed in the opposite side. So wire connection, diode connection, wire. And I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. Remember to have the in, which is the black side, coming from the loom. I have to make sure I do the exact same on the opposite side, and that going down will solve your problem regarding the indicator. Now, the other way, if you don't want to do that, the other way is to make your own. So you can make your own, let's say with a thick wiring, and slide the diode into the wiring, have the space, and then slide it in. For example, let me see, wire like this. So I'm going to try hold this and see. Oops. If you get a wire this thick, you can see down the corner, oops, the diode may be able to slide right into the sleeve. So I'm going to pretend it's going in. So we'll actually slide all the way in, bump up, and do the same on the opposite side. And you continue on as one, and then you get a spare connector, like one of these, and then join it together. And then what you do is you go up, and where it joins in up here on your signals, so your block connector, your green white, and your green red, you simply plug it in there, one on each side, and run it straight to your dash, and then that will do that if you don't want to cut the original wire loom. So it's a choice. That's two ways of doing it. I'm just doing it this way because it's just as clean. I forgot to put my sleeve on it. There's meant to be a little sleeve I put on that. And what I also do is like this, I offset them, because then I don't have one big bulge. So the next one will start a little bit, but a little bit of tape around it, and you'll hardly even notice it. In fact, you won't notice it because it'll be hidden up here. And that will make it work. I've done many of these, and I've sent them out, and like it's really nice and bright, and I've no issue. So yeah, I just thought I'd explain how it will actually work. So if you want to do your own, this is how to do it. You can always reach out and contact us here at Plan 6 Parts, and I can run it through a bit more. So just simple diodes, and just make sure you follow the direction. You should be directioned to tell you which side is in and which side is not in. And you can always test it off a battery as well with a little light. But yeah, that's all. And I said it's easy to do, but when you're doing it up here, it's hard. I've taken the dials out to get to it, and there's not much room, so it is awkward to do this. So the easiest thing to do is take a little bit of extra time, disconnect them from the dials, let the wire and harness loom fall down, and do it down below. It's a lot easier if you have more access. Otherwise, it is. I've done it up here, and it's so finicky just to try get your hands in here and squeeze and so on, and it's a bit of a nightmare. So that's my advice on that one. So that's one I've done. I've already done one. So I'm going to continue on and do the next one, and I'm going to tape that back up, and that's ready to go. And that's my wiring for the indicator sorted out. What else have I done? As you've seen, I've put a new wire in here with a fuse. That's going to be for the USB connector that's going in the middle of the dash that you've seen previously in the video where I've done it. And the other wire is a negative, and that will come down, and it will join onto a negative down here. I do have to set off, I do have the switches here, and I'm going to set off for all the electrics I'm going to put down here. Because what I'm doing with this one, again, like I've done before in a few cars, is the door, when you open it, I'm not running the standard bulb here. I'm actually having the lights underneath the seat, so the whole footwell lights up, and then the footwell will light up on its own on the switch. So the switch should be LED under here, and the door will run an LED under the seat that will go across. So that's how I like to split them. Simple thing to do. It just, obviously I can't do it until the seats are in and the A-frame is in, so I can actually run the wires down. And plus I have to put the wire on the seat or the tracks. But I'll get to that. Right now I'm just starting to connect all the wiring up. Excuse me. I'm starting to connect it all up so I can push it through, so I can actually get the dash on. So, but I needed to get this done first before I put it up. Then I get the dashboard on, connect the things, and then hopefully in the next couple of days, the plan is, like I said, the plan is to start the engine. And I'm hoping I can do a live feed when I do it. Although if it doesn't start, it doesn't start, or it goes bang. It's the first start is always the worst one, and this will be the time I go wrong. But it is what it is. Anyway, that's it for now. So yeah, this is the first video I've done a little bit because I've had some other cars in. So again, usual, any comments, questions, concerns, give me a shout, and I'll try help you as best I can. And yeah, roll on some more high speed, or if the video is long enough, I'll see you in the next part. So again, really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. And again, hit the subscribe button because I'm almost at the 1,000. That's my goal. I think I'm 6 people away, so I need 6 more. I'm at 994, so I need 6 more to hit that 1,000 mark, and that'd be achieving for me. Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next part. Okay, welcome to the Tr6 dash installation. So I'm going to put the dashboard on this car. This is a 75, and if you're following the other videos, this is the Delph Blue one, because I'm trying to do this separate so people can follow along. So what we're going to do is we're going to start putting the dash on, but we're going to start with just this section here, worrying about the wiring for here. I'm not worried about this yet because I've other stuff to do, but this part here we're going to get this done so at least you can do one thing at a time and not push yourself too far. So this is a 75, so basically if you have a 73 onwards, you will have the same, maybe the same dash, same wiring pretty much. The only difference is that if you, sorry, some of these are loose, if you have a 75, 76, you're going to have the extra light for a E or G. Now, if you're not running the ERG, you don't plan to run the ERG and you're changing the dashboard, then you have the choice of getting the late 74 one, which be similar to this, 73, 74, and you only get 2 and not 3 ones. Now, you can always get this and you can always choose that, hey, if I want to put it in later on, you can just bore out a new hole in the middle and run it if you really wanted it. So, what I'm going to do is, this one here, as you can see, I have a USB port in the middle, so I'm not putting the retro in here, so I'm bypassing that. So let's start with some wiring first in colours. Because we do have, basically, if you put a new wiring harness in, you're going to have this big blob of wire and you're like, alright, where does everything go? If you took your dash off and just disconnected everything, you'd have the same blob of wiring and try to figure out where to go. So let's start with the simple things. Alright, any wiring that's here that has red on it, in other words, it's a red wire, is always your illumination lights. Side marker lights, dash lights, any sort of lights like that. So you can eliminate them. Because I am not using the retro, I have bypassed it. So I've basically taken the red, white, and the red is the main one. If you have a new harness, so we'll say red, white after that, or go in red, red, white after your retro. The original will should be just red all the way. So join the red together if you want to bypass it, and for the retro that never seems to work. So, what I've noticed in this wiring harness is though I've bridged that, but then I've found another one here, somewhere in here. I found another one. So if there's another spade connector, then that has to go somewhere else. So now I have to double bridge it. I'll have to take this bridge off and make it into a double connection and bridge it that way. So, but I'll do that later on. I'm not too worried about it because it's what I'm doing. Now, on this loom as well, you'll find this attachment here, and you should have a black with a green tracer and a purple, double purple white. This is the one that will actually go to your switch down here. So this is not part of this cluster, it goes down here, so you can push it down. If you haven't already taken it out, if it's already there, it's already there. So, we now can illuminate the red with the white striping, pretty much. So 1, 2, we can take them out, and no, that's nothing to do with it, so make it a little smaller. Now, what else do we have? We have some purples in here. So you have a solid purple, which would be solid power. That's constant power. That's always on. It's pretty much straight from the battery. If you follow your fuses, that's pretty much constant power. So you have a purple with a white tracer. Again, I want to say this one should be a ground. It shouldn't actually be power. But it probably is purple with a white tracer. I'm trying to follow it here. Oh, it is on a live, yes. So this would be a live. So this is live as well, by right, according to that. I always thought these were grounds. I thought that these went to the doors, because the purple with the white tracer goes to the door, and this runs the. Oh, it is. This is your ground. That's right. This is a ground one. The one with the white is it's just a negative. Goes to your doors, runs the switch, and this is where you get your ground from. This is where you get your main power from, and that illuminates the lights. Anyway, these are for your floor lights or your footwell lights, courtesy lights, whatever you want to call them. So I'm not using them right now, and they can go down. All right. Now, next one up is this long one, white with a pink tracer. This is your radio. You're running the radio. This is what it runs. I'm not sure where it's fused through, but it's always a good idea to put a fuse from here down onto your radio and have your radio with its own fuse. Although all radios come with their own fuse, like a 10 amp on the back of it, usually I always like to put another one because I can't guarantee what this is fused to, because it's not, just remember it's only 3 fuses, so there's a lot of system to go through 3 fuses. I always put an extra one on it. So, but that's your radio. So we'll push that one down. So now the group has gotten smaller. Okay, pop that through here. So to make it a little easier, what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate some lights. So we have 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. These 4 are for your gauges, 1 for each one. It's a red with a white tracer, so that comes after the retro, and it has its own ground, so when it gets power, it will illuminate whether it's touching the body or not. Unlike your lights here, they're just positive, and the actual gauge itself, your RPM and your speedo are grounded, and then when the bulb touches that, it triggers it. Same as like your tail lights as well. It's a bit of a bad system, because if you don't get a good ground, you won't get the light. But I've never honestly had a problem with the gauges, because it has its own ground strap that goes, and it's usually pretty good. Tail lights, they're their own thing. I have a video on how to solve that problem, because it's a terrible ground issue back there. Even on a brand new wiring harness, it doesn't make a difference. It's the light itself. It's brutal. Anyway, so if we eliminate them, now it's getting smaller. Now we have 2 more lights here. Here's the little small ones. 1, 2. So these ones here are your brake and your seat belt. That's your brake and your seat belt. And again, if you had a 75, 76, the late one, you'll have an extra one, and that will be your ERG. Then you're left with this little fuse. It's getting smaller. Now, here we have a negative, because it's all black, and we have another red with a white tracer. Now, there's a bullet connector on that, and I'm not sure why. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why it's a bullet connector. There's nothing here that connects to a bullet connector. However, we know, because it's red with a white tracer, it's after the retro, so when you turn your lights on, this is going live. That's a guarantee. So if you're not using it, blank it off, because if it grounds out, you're just going to blow some fuses. Either that or use it. This can be most likely be used to run a light down here. So it could be a light that will stay on, but it's when you turn your headlights on, it will illuminate. Some of these, actually, sorry, I know what this is for. My mistake, I almost forgot. These 2 are for your bar across here that says like choke, demister, blower. That's what these do. I forgot about that. I was wondering why you have bullet connectors, because most of the time you have spade connectors. So that's why I was trying to figure out why it has bullet. So you may end up having to chop these in a new wiring harness and put a spade connector in to go to the bulb. If you're changing it to LED or you're rearranging it, that's where it is. So that's these 2 here, that's where they go. So these are for this down here. Don't try keeping this side, because that's where the wiring goes. Alright, so now we're just left with this little bunch. Alright, so we've 1 negative, 1 black ground, we have a double green. We should have a green with a blue tracer, a dark green, and the light green with a blue tracer. Oh, sorry, dark green with a blue, yes. Double green, a dark green with a black, and just a light green. I think I said them all. Anyway, so when you think about it, this is your wires for your gauges. That makes it a little easier now. I've taken all these away and now I know what these do. So based on colors. So we're going to put these gauges in. Now, here's an important thing to remember. Your gauges are supposed to go temp, oil, fuel, and volts. That's the way they're set up to go. However, you can put them in any order you want. Whatever pleases you, there's no rule to say that you have to be in that order. However, it's important you do some certain things properly. For example, all the positives, which is your greens and all that, always go to the driver's side. So your because this can make a gauge not work, especially on the like for example the fuel center. So, oh Jesus, I'm digging into that. That hurt. So here we go. So our temperature gauge, right? Our temperature gauge is going to be the double green and the green with the blue tracer, I believe. But it's important to have the double green, the positive on the driver's side, and basically the negative end of it is on this one. Same as your fuel. Positive is on the empty side, negative is on the full side, because it's the negative that drives the gauge up. So your fuel center actually it's grounded out, but as it's full, it gets a stronger ground and it pulls it up. If you have them reversed, the gauge will not work. It's important to make sure that the wiring goes to the correct side of the gauge. The oil is irrelevant, it just has a light. The other ones do actually go in a certain way. You always put the positive side of it to the driver's side, based on a left-hand drive. If you're a right-hand drive, it'd be the opposite side, it'd be the passenger side. So, anyway, let's get a little start on this. So the first thing I'm going to do is go down to our temp, which should be a double green, and green temperature is green with a blue tracer. That's right, I was right. All right. So again, make sure I put the double green the driver's side, and the green with the blue tracer is on the passenger side. And what I'll do is I'm going to pick one of the lights to slide in. When I say pick one, you can pick any one, but sometimes depending how you it's not comfortable here. Let's see. Well, depending how it is on the loom, it's sometimes wrapped around. You find you'll have to unfidget it to make it stretch and work. Next one should be oil. So I have my oil in here, hiding in here somewhere. Now, another thing to remember about the oil, make sure it's the right way around, because the oil switch, the oil line actually is sided. So the screw is stuck here. These oil lines actually do go only one direction. You can't mix and match, you can't turn them around, you will not fit. You'll be able to put them both onto the engine side, but you will not be able to get it on up here. So when you're doing up here, just remember it should be flat. I know I can't zoom in, but this end here should be flat. And how you'd know is that there's a little recess in the middle, and that recess sits over this here. The opposite end is flanged. So it has a flange on it, so it won't line up. You'll realize it doesn't sit flush, and that's how you know you're on the wrong side. Plus, it won't actually tread on. It's a different size head that actually won't fit. So, now, it's important that you actually put this on, because I have done it. I have taken the oil line off. I've forgotten about it. I turned the engine over. And guess what happens? The carpet kit turned black because now I had a big puddle of oil. I was wondering why I was getting no oil pressure, and I realized all I was seeing was a puddle of oil. So make sure you connect your oil pressure, your oil gauge. Very important. give it a wiggle. You want to make sure it's seated in correctly, otherwise you'll get a false reading. Now, how tight does it have to be? Not hand tight, that's for sure. Get it a little tighter than that. So it's almost like a spark plug, quarter turn pretty much will do. And now I'm going to find another light that will stretch up there. Where are we? Give me one of these. There we go. Where'd you come? Oh, actually, this one's on the other side. I'll use this one. This one looks like it's going to stretch further, so I'll use it up here. Now, if you're doing a new harness, I've got to mention that. If you're running a new harness, your lights in the middle will be a push-fit bulb. So they will look like... I had a loose bulb somewhere. I guess I don't. Your middle ones will look like this. It'll be a push-fit, when your original one will be a screw. The ones I have in here, if you notice, look a little different than these LEDs. They are LED, but they're these ones. And they're a super bright green. They're actually a green LED. I got them on purpose because your RPM and your TAC have a green lens on the back end of it. So you can put a green bulb in, or you can put a white bulb in and it will illuminate green. These don't. These are just clear. If you put white in, they illuminate white. So that's why what I do is I get a green one and I put it in so they all match up and they're pretty bright, because the halogen ones, the original ones we put in, are terrible. You can't see anything. You must have a candle be better. It's terrible. So yeah, these are super bright green. Now, another thing to note is that if you do this and they don't turn on, as odd as it seems, these should not be sided. It shouldn't be a positive and a negative to know which one goes to the positive side and which goes to the negative wire. But I kid you not, and there's no word of a lie, I've had them not work. I've taken them out, turned them around, put them back in, and they've worked. So, depending on the bulb, you might want to just double check if you have power to take it out, make sure it's actually working before you fit it in. But yeah, it's not meant to. They usually doesn't make a difference, but yeah, some bulbs are probably like that. Alright, so next we have our fuel. Our fuel should be just a green, if I remember, and a green black. Yes, so it basically follows on from your temperature gauge, and the next green goes in. So again, remember, make sure the light green, the positive end, is on the driver's side. That's the important part about this. That has to be on the driver's side, or else the gauge won't work. You can ground out the gauge and it'll work, but you shouldn't be able to buy right. You shouldn't be able to swap it over and it works. So if you put it on the wrong side, it won't work. But if you put positive on the empty side and negative on the other one, you should see the gauge go up if you want to bench test it. And this one has the green with the black tracer. And these are the ones that go to the sender unit at the back. So it should be this one. Nope, it's a solid green. Where are you? Where are you going? Are you? I'm running out of squares, so there won't be so many. There you are there. Alright. And again, make sure you have a good connector. Make sure you clean the terminals before you put them in. But it's always good to bench test the gauge as well. So before you put it in, as I said, put the positive to driver's side, negative, and you will see the gauge move. Now, last one left then is our volts, and that should be the double white. Oh, that's where it gets a bit of a stretch. So we should have the voltage should be the double white and the ground. I have to look at it just to be certain. I know it is because it's all that's left. Where are we? Fuel, temp, washer, voltage stabilizer. Where's it gone? It's in here somewhere. Should be double white. If I follow the white wires, I'll find it. That's all you have left. Now I know the double white goes on the driver's side and the ground is on the full side. Because when you look at this, here's your gauges here. So here's the temp gauge, here's the fuel gauge. You have to remember is that this is if you were looking at it directly, if you were actually physically looking at the gauge. So that's why it tells you which side is on which. That's the washer. I'm trying to find my bolts. Oh, here it is here. It's all the way up here, you see me. So again, as if I was looking at it, left hand side is the double white, and on your far side, your the higher reading is your ground. Again, it's important to follow that. That's an important part to follow. Now, that's it. It's got a bit of a stretch here. The negative is fine, but the double white is a bit of a push. Twist this because it's in my way. And the last thing to put in there is a light. So if you move left, there you are there. Nope, wrong word. Where is it? What's the last light? Now, I have a solid dark green left. That one goes. Whoop. Where's the last light? Oh, here it is. It's going all the way over here. Hopefully it stretches. I said, if it doesn't stretch, then move them around. I think I'm better off taking this one, to be honest. This one should fit there. And this one should reach up here. Yeah, there we go. Now this is where I have to start pushing it in. Make sure it gets there. The last one left over, which is the solid dark green. Right, so you should have one left over. That should be the power for your blower switch. So I'm just getting it out from behind the rest of the wires, so it falls down. And that one comes down. This is the main power for your blower because it'll be right here. Other than that, that's these here. Now, the only other thing I'm doing is I am running in another positive and negative because I am running in the I am putting in the USB port. So again, it shouldn't make a difference, but I always go power to the left, follow the same power. And I had a negative here. It was here. You do. Hold on to it. Alright. That's it. So now I can actually start pushing it in. I just have to move some of these because this one's in the way. Actually, I can't, that must just stay there. Get in there, okay. Oh, I feel like I sit down. Woo. Now, where's the two lamps? The two lamps for your brake and your thing, I have them pulled down here so I can put my hand back in because it's going to get pretty tight. The other thing to watch out for is no other wiring sticking out. like sticking out here because you go to push it on, you realise why it's not going in, it's because it's getting stuck. Now, this is, I have to manipulate this because this has a load of leather on it, so it has extra coatings. It sticks off the edge. Oh, that's not making it easy to get in. Just going slowly. I need to open this door to see what's. I have to open this door to see where it's getting stuck. Obviously with all the extra leather that's on it, because this is leather covered, so it's going to be a tight fit. It's getting there. Be careful. I don't want to crack the wood and put too much pressure on it. She's almost good there. So what I can do is, I'll get a screw in the middle. Now the other thing is that I have the screws, but the bezels are missing. So I have to take them back out and swap them one by one with the bezels. But I'm just going to put this in now just to hold the dash. So this got leather covered if you fold it. So with the extra layer, the big thick layer, it's sticking out a lot more. So I might even need to get longer screws. And let's put the push in there. It is a tight fit. Whew. It's gone in pretty much on this side. Almost. So I'm going to get a longer screw here. Yeah, I'm going to get a longer one just to pull it in. It's looking nice. But yeah, with all the leather, it's going to be a challenge to get it in because I might have to loosen the dash off, like the windscreen, just to get it to fit. You shouldn't have this problem if you're a normal dashboard. I say normal dashboard, this is a normal dashboard, but you don't have leather in. Because it's sitting out here, and I have to find out why. Like what's, I think it's just too much, I think it's too much layering. Oh, there we go. Can I get a screw in here? Like it gets, oh god, look at the rust. I'd get something in just to get a grip on it. Whew. These holes are not lining up right. Yeah. It's been quite the challenge to get this in. So I made to play around with it a bit more. I had it going in, but I think there's too much layering on it. Anyway, so that's that for now. So you shouldn't have to struggle like me to get it in. Yours should just slide in. Like I said, obviously with all the leather, I'm gonna have to start trimming and maybe trim some back to allow it to sit in, because it's just, there's too much pressure. There's too much pressure on the top here. So it needs to go in further. So I may have to loosen this off to allow the leather to come up to go in, or else, like I said, I'm gonna have to take a little trim off it. But that's it for now. That's it for them gauges. So I'm gonna play around with this a bit more and get it to fit in. And then when I come back on the next video, then we'll move on and we'll start putting like just the center plinth can go in. You can put all the wiring in there, the cables, and then we won't move on to the A-frame because I want to get it running before I put that in case I need to do anything with the gearbox. So before I commit to that, I want to get the gauges on enough that I can actually get it running. And the most important thing of all is the oil. I can live if the temperature gauge is not connected, I can live if the voltage gauge is not connected, and I can live if the fuel gauge is not connected. If I don't connect the oil gauge and I turn it over, I am making a mess, and I've done that. So yeah, that's it for now. As I said, I'm going to have to work hard to get this to fit on. So I have a funny feeling it's going to take me a while to get it to go in. I'm probably going to need longer screws to get it to pull in. So anyway, thanks for watching, and join me in the next part, and we'll continue on putting the rest of the car together.